Welcome back, traders. This is my market preview for the week of February 25th for Nasdaq and S&P futures. This video should not be taken as financial advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so we have a weekly chart right here of the dollar index. And you can see that we've been consolidating between the monthly BISI here and the monthly SIBI, just going back and forth. Zooming in, we see that price has rallied into the SIBI, went back down to the BISI, and as price was coming up, we were noting the relative highs over here with the fair value gap. Last few weeks, we've dug into the fair value gap, but you can see that last week we came up and we closed back into the range here. So from the SIBI and the BISI were pretty much at equilibrium. So I can see price going both ways, but I am leaning towards the downside, and I'll tell you why. First of all, we've dug into this SIBI on the weekly, and we've created a swing high. Also, if we go back up to a monthly chart, we can see that on the monthly we have, let me move myself out of the way. On the monthly, we have a SIBI that we've come up to, and now it looks like we're just going to be wicking into it, and we may be coming back below this low here. Okay, going back to the weekly, we see this volume imbalance below price at the moment. So if this is going to be a swing high, I would anticipate price dropping back into this volume imbalance. And below here, we have another inefficiency. And then we can also aim for the lows and these relative lows here as well. So I'm going to be leaning on the downside for dollar index. Here's a weekly chart for S&P, and you can see that I have my projections right here on the monthly and weekly chart, and we've went and hit this standard deviation last week. Price has been bullish and not really showing any signs of reversals. I have this drawn out here as the market structure shift on the daily, but you can see on the weekly, we really want to see price displace underneath this swing low in order for there to be a proper market structure shift. Dropping down to the daily. So this was that weekly swing low that I was talking about earlier. And here's the daily swing low. If we can break below this, since we've already taken the buy side liquidity and we reached the projection targets, if price displays down below this swing low, this could be a potential market structure shift on the daily chart. So we see price create a rather large fair value gap last week. So I think price could come down and retrace into it. In fact, I want to go down to the 4-hour to take a look at these two inefficiencies here. Also noting this two candles, the two down candles here, are going to be the order block that is right in the middle of this fair value gap. Zooming into the 4-hour, we can see that we have this old high here, which is pretty much in the middle of this leg up. And we can see price draw back into this area also. And we have noted two fair value gap. This is the first one. We could come down here and create some kind of a support, but because this is in the upper half of this leg, I really want to see price come down into this fair value gap, which is closer to a discount. It's right in the middle, so this is actually the equilibrium fair value gap. So with dollar index being bearish, I am still bullish on the indices, but I do see that there is a potential that we could have retracement. And should we have a retracement, there's a potential trade that we can target this fair value gap. Or even if we go into a discount, we could look at the fair value gap here. Or if it's going to be a complete reversal, we do have these relative lows here. I know we see the wicks, but if you just look at the bodies, it's pretty flat in this area. Here's a weekly chart for the Nasdaq, and you can see that last week we took out the all-time highs once again. There's some other lines here we'll take a look at once we drop down to the daily chart, but right now just ignore it. We have this red line here. That's going to be my projection Price could, if it's going to keep rallying, could reach for this significant price point. Now, also one other thing of note is that we have this old fair value gap. Price last week did come down and touch the top of it, and then now it's kind of in this range right here. So going into the daily chart, we can see that price did come down to touch the fair value gap here. Also, there's a daily order block, and then price rally creating a fair value gap here. Let's just zoom in a little bit closer. So we see that we do have a fair value gap here, and I drew the consequent encroachment of it out as well. We have two candles here, it could be treated as order blocks. So if we were treating both of these and using the high here, price could just dip down a little bit into it and then start rallying up, pushing for that projection level. Second scenario is price could just come down and start working in this imbalance right here, in which case I'll be using the second order block here, the lower one, as it is in the middle of the range, also right below the equilibrium actually in a discount. So I could be using this order block in order to look for a trade long, going for the high and that projection high. Unless this fair value gap gets closed in and if price closes below it, and we're going to look at the midpoint of this candle as well. So if the mean threshold of it also gets price closes below that, then I'll be looking for lower prices below this swing low, and possibly just closing in this fair value gap at the lows here. So that'll do it for me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. You can help me out by giving me a like on this video. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I'm going to be making a trade coming up this week. And then also my market preview for next week. But until then, good luck trading.